What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? I hope it's a wonderful afternoon. It's Tim.
And Shane.
And we're sitting here in the van, sort of doing nothing, sort of doing something, just sitting around, having some discussions. Shane and I have had the opportunity to get into some fellowship this afternoon. Was that some good fellowship, Shane?
It was indeed.
It
short
was.
As maybe.
It was short, but it was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what... that's a joke there. There's a joke in there. It was short, but I don't know. There's a joke in there somewhere that somebody's missing. Anyway, so the meme I've used for today's image is pretty funny. I'm going to try to post it as a comment. Give me just a second, or maybe I'll get it in here just a second. Let me paste it. Nope, it's not going to work. But I'm not mean. Or excuse me, people think I'm joking, but I'm really mean. So my buddy told me a story recently about his significant... I'm not sure. A family member? We can just say a family member. We don't have to say which family member it was, right?
Yeah, correct.
So I don't want to take away the story, but so basically your family member was getting married to this person, this female, right?
Yes.
And she was apparently pretty terrible. She was atrocious.
She was a nightmare. She was a dependa. Her grandma was a dependa.
So I'm an Army veteran, and Shane, for those of you that don't know, he served in the Tuskegee Airmen.
I think that's what they were called. It was something like that, I think.
The Crayon Eating Brigade. I don't know. I don't really know what it's called. How does it worded? Is it U.S. Marine?
The United States.
The United States Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
He's a Marine, guys. For those of you that don't know, he's a Marine. And we're not going to hold that against him. We're not. We're not going to hold it against him. But how often... I want Shane to continue with his story, but how often do people think that you're being a jerk when you're really just joking?
A lot. I can be quite scathing as a joke, and I'm blocked by many people on Facebook because of it.
It's a weird thing.
Sarcasm is a hard concept for some people.
But today we're not talking about those instances. We're talking about the other instances, right?
Yes, correct.
Where people actually think that we're joking when we're actually telling the truth. So I have a story and Shane has a story. Go ahead, Shane.
My relative was getting married to this girl, and I never liked her. I treated her like crap. I made fun of her every chance I saw her, and I never had a nice word to say to her. And later, when they were getting divorced, he asked me, because I flat told him, I told you so. I told you she was a terrible person. You guys never listened. He goes, well, I thought you were just joking. It's like, no, I was dead serious. What are you like? Why? I never said Jake.
So he thought you were just just trying to be mean to her.
Yeah, he just thought I was being like a older brother, like you're an idiot, kind of fun.
Kind of messing with you thing.
Messing with you. And I was like, no.
I actually think that she was terrible. Wow. Okay, so my story, similarly, it happens a lot more regularly. And Shane has seen it. I think he hasn't seen it this week, but he sees it often. My business partner, Jonathan, has seen it. A couple other of my friends have seen it pretty regularly. But, when I'm out in public and someone walks up to my dog and I and feels obligated or excuse me, entitled. Is that the better word? Entitled?
Yeah.
Entitlement.
Entitled is much better.
Entitled is terrible. But yeah, they've basically felt entitled to talk to me about my dog. And so because of that, we basically saw people doing pretty much whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want around my dog, right? And that was really annoying. And so when I first started handling them, I really didn't know what to say. It got awkward at first.
Yeah.
But now I managed a way to make it even more awkward for those people, at least. The way I make it more awkward for them is they ask me, "Oh, what's your dog's name?" And what do I say, Shane?
Are you on your period?
No, Shane, stop it. That's terrible. Don't. No, I say. No, what do I really say? Why do you ask?
Oh, why do you ask? Oh,
yeah, why do you ask? Shane, jeepers. Leave it to the Marine to say what he wants. Okay, for real though, if people walk up and they say, They say, hey, what's your dog's name? And then I say,
Why do you ask?
oh, I don't know. I just, I have this dog at home. It's a Labrador, and I grew up with this black dog who looks just like yours. And that's usually what it sounds like. That's usually what it basically sounds like, pretty much. That's usually it. That's usually what it is.
Same voice and everything.
Same voice and everything. Every
time.
Yeah, every human I've ever met talks that way, is what I'm trying to say. I know it's a caricature of the person's trying to talk to me. But it happens often, where we're talking to people, and we're interacting with people, and they think that we're just kidding. Like, the number of people that laugh when I'm very serious is high. It's very high. There's a high number of people.
Look at you, like they have no response. They're just it's so awkward. It's so lost.
And it makes the persons with me feel a lot of uncomfortableness, especially my spouse, my significant other. If you know anything about Jennifer, she's amazing, and she also isn't a gregarious person by any means. She's not a outgoing person, but she's very bubbly. She's very kind. She's exceptionally sweet and considerate. And if you hear loud booming, by the way, a completely digression here, it's because we're driving on the streets of Baghdad, aka North Omaha and the Spring, and the plows come through and make potholes the size of 155 Mike bombs blowing up everywhere. So the loud booms are related to that. I apologize ahead of time. And no, it doesn't affect my PTSD, if anybody was asking. It doesn't bother yours, does it, Shane?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So why do you think it is that people think the opposite, particularly about veterans? You know what I mean? Like, they think they're joking when they're not, or they think they're not joking when they are. Like, I'll tell a joke about, something that's exceptionally inappropriate. Like, here you go, everybody. Don't get offended. I love everybody. So these views do not necessarily represent those of any of the organizations I'm involved with. This is just a joke. So if you get butthurt at the end, right before you get mad and say something, just remember this. I'm joking, right? What's the difference between a barrel full of burning dead pandas and a Lamborghini?
I do not know that one.
I don't have a Lamborghini in my garage. Here we are, guys. See, that's a joke. Ha 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 ha. It's called a joke, right? We can laugh about it. We can get mad about it. We can ignore it. We can all together just blow it off because it's just a joke, right? But a lot of people would hear that and they would get what? They would get mad. How do you think a lot of people would feel about that?
Oh my God! How did you say that?
Is that exactly how they would talk?
That is exactly.
That is every human being on the earth to Shane Edwards sounds that way. Which explains why you're angry all the time. You're angry all the time because you hear every. What's the saying about Dr. Langenfeld up there on the 8th floor of the VA? He says, if you're a hammer, everything is a nail. Everything is getting ready to get beat on. Everything's getting hammered. Everything, yeah. So changing your perspective is what my wife told me to do this morning, and that's a necessary, helpful thing. But more back to the discussion of, people mischaracterizing what a veteran says, this isn't just analogous to veterans or similar to veterans. A lot of people, I think, are dealing with this on a daily basis, right? I think that there's a lot of people who get misjudged or mischaracterized by saying something. I was thinking about this the other day on Twitter. I was watching somebody on Twitter say some stuff about an agenda going on and an issue in the news and media, and so this particular person, who I don't want to mention because then you'll go and look and then it'll be an opinion that I'm putting out there, but this person offered their opinion and said it very inarticulately, and everybody jumped on him. They took a screenshot of it. Everybody said, look at this racist, look at this bigot, look at this hateful person, and all he said was fact, 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 fact. Hashtag, I said this is a fact, right? That's what just happened. And so then that person gets angry and that person gets mad because everybody jumps on top of them. Everybody is just beating them up, and everybody won't leave them alone about it. And so maybe perhaps we shouldn't be so sensitive. Maybe. I don't know.
People are going back to what you're talking about, being misinterpreted as to whether you're joking or being serious. I think people tend to try to take away from what you say what they want you to have meant.
So their perspective
is different. So they got to assume that you directed it right at them,
Okay.
or you directed a group of people.
Wow.
Basically, they're going to find a reason to be upset.
So if everybody is a nail, you're always a... Or excuse me, if everybody is a hammer, you're always a nail. Woo! We just flipped the script. We just changed it, you see? Because if you walk around life thinking that everything is a nail that you need to hit, or you need to get out of the way, or pound, or use aggression, then you're going to walk around angry. But on the other side of that spectrum, if you think everything around you is nothing but a hammer waiting to fall on your face, you're always going to be misjudging everything as an attack. What do we call those? I think in psychology they call those a delusion. Right? Making up something that somebody's doing to you, like misperceiving some kind of wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably rationalization, or it's a defense mechanism.
Really?
Yeah, it's a psychological defense mechanism.
Why? What do you think?
Just like when someone fails a test, what do they say? They don't say, well, I should have studied more. They just say, oh, that
I'm a bad
test was,
test taker.
I'm a bad test taker, or that test was irrationally hard. You know, they always try to displace what they've got going on and blame somebody else.
You know what I'll tell you too? Daniel Tosh said a bit. I don't necessarily sign off on everything he says, but he did a bit about it, and he said, yeah, he's like, he always basically commenting about how foolish it is to say I'm a bad test taker. He's like, what you're bad at that part where you apply what you know. He's basically saying like you're an idiot if you're saying that you know something that you don't know, right? You're leaving out some facts. Right?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
fibbed somewhere.
I mean, there's all sorts of them. Like the guy at McDonald's, working at McDonald's, makes fun of the homeless guy. Like, he feels like crap in his life, so his goal is to make someone else. It's called deflection. He's deflecting his anger to him, even though I'd rather be homeless than work for McDonald's. But that's just my opinion.
You'd rather be homeless than
I
work?
would rather be homeless than work for that
Get
company.
out of here.
No.
That's
I'll
crazy.
sleep under a bridge. Would not be the first time.
You would smell the same. I mean, like the end product of sleeping
Yeah.
under a bridge or working at McDonald's would leave you smelling. Although a job is a job is a job. You think?
McDonald's wouldn't be a job. That'd be like purgatory or hell.
Speaking of purgatory and hell, people share their religious views in the same way, don't they? They kind of they put their religious views out there like an opinion, but they believe it like it's a fact.
Yeah.
So to them, it's a fact. So because they perceive it as a fact, it is, and therefore, if you deny it, then you're an idiot, or you're stupid, or you're dumb. It's ad hominem. You're attacking their character because their person disagrees with your opinion.
Yeah.
It's actually a sign, if I'm not mistaken, of a weak argument, right?
Very. I actually had a teacher when over here at Metro. I walked out of her class because whatever, but she once literally told a girl that because that girl was Christian, her point was invalid and she was stupid.
That's something.
Class.
Wow.
She like finger in the
Wow. Isn't that something though? Like right now, it's okay to be a gay, black, trans, activist, high school wrestling activist.
champion.
It's cool to be that, but if you say I'm a white Christian, God-fearing person, it seems like a lot of people jump on you. And I'm not saying that that's my claim either side, because I'm neither black nor am I white. I'm Michael Jackson, you guys. I am actually Michael Jackson inside. No, I'm kidding. But it just seems odd that we're willing to demonize one group just because they're one group, while simultaneously saying don't demonize other groups. You know what I mean? It's like it seems hypocritical to me.
That's humanity through culture. There's always been a different category or subcategory now that they have to use to direct hate for. Back in the day, used to be the blacks. They were, the black African Americans, whatever.
The blacks. That's how you should say it. Yeah, that's the most appropriate way, Shane. Right? Yeah. Okay.
But they were the group that they singled out.
Okay.
With them, then they had the Irish.
Okay.
And
that might be racially pejorative. Also, the Irish.
Well, I'm Irish, so I can say
you could say.
But every culture throughout history has had one group that they've demonized, they attack, etc.
You think it's just because they're weak and they didn't take enough medicine to help them lose their ego and think correctly, you think?
Society-wise?
Because you don't see, do you see the Peruvians doing that?
Well, I mean,
because they have the most...
Sure, through some cultures don't like the other culture, one tribe hates the other tribe and thinks everybody from that tribe's stupid.
Okay.
Etc. I mean, it's
Where are you from?
human nature.
This side of the street? That side of the street? Screw that side of the street. There's only one side of the street. This side of the street.
It's
yeah.
human nature through. I mean, up from recorded history has always been. I mean, it's a way. I think it's a way of, as a culture, deflecting, because you can blame everything on that other group, whatever it may be. I mean, like the war on drugs that came out, they losing funding for the FBI, and they didn't know how to increase that, so they invented the war on drugs because they claimed black people were smoking weed and being lazy and degenerating
they were giving
society,
the black people,
and the Mexicans were doing cocaine.
No, they were giving no. Don't forget this. This is the worst stereotype of all. It's the worst, dude. It's that they were taking. That white women were smoking this, and it was making them sleep with the black man, and so we got to do something about this.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
It's such insane. It's simultaneously stupid, idiotic, and also I hate it.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, it happens. If you look at today, you got everyone saying white. If you're white, you're a racist, and you have white privilege, which was an invented term by.
Well, hold on.
Everyone's doing that. But
well, I think that you've got to talk. I mean, there is a measure of an element to a degree of. I mean, like even Daniel Tosh, the comedian, talks about it. He's like, God, it's great being white. Like he jokes about it, but to an element, to a degree. I'm not saying that if you are black or Hispanic or dark-skinned person that you are automatically set at odds against white people. But what I do believe is that there is a culture. I'm not saying every or all over, but I believe there is a culture of racism, Shane. It's subtle, and it usually presents itself in bigotry, but it is there. And to deny it is just as foolish as them denying that they are also racist. And by they, I don't mean black or Hispanics. I mean people who are not light-skinned, claiming that dark-skinned people don't exhibit racist behavior. That is foolish on both sides. Do you agree?
I mean, racism in any direction, and yes, a person
not
of color
just racism,
can be
also
racist,
bigotry,
and bigotry against white people, and there's white people.
It goes both ways.
I mean, the KKK is still real. I mean,
well, I think the KKK is less of a concern, Shane. I mean, I'm saying like
as a society,
the average white
think it's,
male.
It has flipped. If a person of color and a white person.
We should roll up our window before we finish this discussion.
Go to apply for a job. The black person, even if he might not be quite as qualified as the white person, will get that job because the government requires.
Dude, shut up.
Look at the laws for businesses. If there's not a diverse company, they miss out on major tax breaks, etc.
Yeah, but okay, perhaps not.
I mean,
I just don't think it's safe.
I mean, it's like I used to work for a construction company, and we were getting fined because we didn't have any black people on the payroll, and we didn't have any women on the payroll.
And okay, maybe that is or isn't a thing. I'm not denying that. The point is, though, if it is a thing, we have to call it racism and bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we have to call it that. It's bad for an African-American person to get a job over a white person.
Absolutely.
Just because of their skin tone.
Martin Luther King Jr., that's what he wanted. He wanted a completely level playing field.
Equality.
He did not want the black community receiving special, not permissions, but special
privileges,
treatment when it comes to things like getting a job.
They just wanted equal treatment. They wanted to be treated
equal.
So do you believe? So then, do you believe right now that African-American people are treated the same as white people? Dude, don't. I mean, everybody's listening, dude.
I'm not. I'm actually putting some thought into how I want to answer that.
Okay, because that's what's important is to think about what you say before it spill out of your face hole.
I see black and white without the parameters, pretty much so. If not, even the whites have kind of dropped a little bit below because they're trying to encourage the black community to go, be employed, to go to school, college, to get a higher education, etc.
Okay.
But I see black and white without, I mean, there's variations on each side depending on events and where they're at and individual people. Yeah, absolutely.
But they're the same. They're the same, though. In your eyes, they're the same.
In treatment, absolutely. I mean,
So you believe that right now, as it is right now in America, that a white person and a black person going for a job have the same chance if they take the same steps and do the same work?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So then if that's true...
If they actually, the black person actually probably move forward a little bit quicker.
Okay, see, that's where I disagree. Why do you believe that?
Because the big thing right now, well, has been for a while for companies to show how diverse they are.
Okay.
So they will ensure...
You still think that's a thing? I mean, it's 2018.
Oh, it's...
It seems like that diversity kind of push was back in the mid-90s, and now we're at the point where we are diverse efficient, right? We have efficiently diversified, guys, right? It seems like...
Well, I mean, the government laws are still in place.
We had a black person for the president, and that was amazing and beautiful and awesome. Would you agree or disagree?
The fact that he was black and he made a president, that was pretty cool. The fact that he got two presidents.
The fact that he was the first.
Was black.
Nah, come on, shut up.
Dude, he got 98% of the African American vote.
So what? Because he was the first black president, dude.
Because they voted for him not because of what he promised or what he did. They voted for him because of his skin color.
You don't know that? You didn't vote for him.
President in the history of our nation, before or since, has ever gotten that high of the African American vote.
Because he's black. Duh.
So they voted for him because he was black.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Have you ever asked an African American person why they voted for Obama?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. Absolutely. I was in freaking D.C. when we had to freaking provide security for his damn, not coronation, whatever it's called. Swearing in, and inauguration. There we go. And, I mean, they were black Marines. Some, I had even a couple say, no, I'm not voting for him because he's an idiot. And the others like, well, I want a black president, so I voted for him. That's voting because of his skin color.
Okay, and so then, do you think, how many people do you think voted for Donald Trump because of the same thing? Because he wasn't a woman.
I'd say very little. They were tired of the other side's.
You think so?
Complete and total BS.
Okay.
And I mean,
so what if a female black president came along and was signed on by the GOP? Do you think just as many people that voted for Trump would have voted for that black female president?
Put up against Hillary? Oh, hell yeah.
Do you think that the people that were carrying the tiki torches would have also voted for her?
Dude, that was... I don't even get me started on that, man. If you listen to the media... Oh, no.
I don't listen to the media. I just like poking you.
A different ballgame. That was bullshit.
You guys can't see Shane, but he's laughing and smiling right now. I promise. He's grinning. We poke back and forth because I definitely lean a little bit more left and Shane leans a little bit more towards the tiki torches. I'm just messing with you, buddy. All right, man. We're going to get out of here, guys. For an archive of podcasts, please visit timothylocklear.com. We want you to visit that website, not so that I can get promotion, but so that you can get access to resources that might help you undo some of the problems you're having in your life. PTSD is a real thing. It's a problem. We're going to get by it. We're going to get better. Please hurry up and visit those websites. Also, check out the website for my dog. It's boristheservicedog.com. Lastly, but not leastly, I work for a nonprofit organization with a nonprofit organization. VeteransForNaturalRights.org. We help veterans get access to a lot of the same things I've already been talking about. Check it out, guys. Thank you so much. You're awesome. You're beautiful. Stay tuned for more, maybe later tonight or tomorrow.